Hi, my name is Andrea Simmons, and I was given addition for a math project, and so I have some base 10 blocks to help me demonstrate that here. Now, it's essential to start first with what is the base 10 system. The base 10 system is just saying, hey, I have 10 symbols that I can rearrange, reorder, add on to, or shorten up in order to make new values or new numbers. Our 10 symbols are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And once we hit 10, all we did was recycle the 1 and the 0, and we added a place value, which we'll get into. So how does recycling look when we're looking at base 10 blocks? Let's first just add one by one. We're going to start with the basic unit. These each represent 1. So if I go 1, and I add another unit, I'm at 2. I'm just adding one by one. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here's my 10th unit. So Susie over here says, hey Andrea, you have 10 little units, and I have a long, which has 10 units in it. Why don't I trade you? And I'm not losing anything, and I'm not gaining anything, so I think that's a fair trade. And so I'm going to take the unit, or the long, excuse me. So what these help us represent is place values. So we're starting with the ones when I was counting up my units by myself. And when I got my 10th unit, and she traded me, she was telling me that, hey, you need more than just a ones place. You need a tens place and a ones place. So when I gave her all of my units and I didn't have any left, I had 0 units in the ones place. And my longs, which go in the tens place, because there's 10 units in a long, I had 1. And the next object that we have here is a flat, and a flat is made up of 10 longs. And if we go by units, that's 100. So then we just add on a hundreds place. So if I have 1 flat, 2 longs, and 3 units, I have 123. So that's how the place value works, and we're going to get a little bit more practice as we go along. So there are a couple methods that you can use for addition. One of the first ones is the partial sum. It kind of gives a secondary step in there, so it's easier for kids to understand. So let's say I'm adding 342. Let's start off with that. I have 3 of my flats, because these represent the hundreds. 340, 4 longs, 2. Then I have 529. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flats, 2 longs, and 9 units. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 342, 529, these are what I'm adding together. Now I could just compile it all together, or I can say, okay, partial sums. So first, I want to add each object together. I'm going to go maybe with my biggest first. I'm going to go with my flats. And I'm going to say, all together, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flats. So my first step is saying, okay, well, I have a value of 800, but I'm going to move on to my longs next. So I'm not done adding. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I just added my tens place, my longs. I have 60. And now I can add up my units. So we're kind of keeping different values in mind. We just added the the objects together for both piles, but now we're going to have to add up our partial sums in a second. So our units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember, when we reach that 10, I have to trade in. So I'm going to put 10 of my units away. I'm going to grab an extra long. I do have one more unit, but I'm okay keeping this because I have nothing to trade it for. So here are my 3 partial sums. My hundreds place, my tens place, my ones place. So what's my answer to 342 plus 529? My answer is 800 plus 70, because I added that extra long when I traded in, plus 1. So 871. Another way that we can do this, if we go back to 342 plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 29, we can take out that middle step of adding the partial sums. The last one we were really going by a second step of adding. This one we can just kind of all do it at once in one big swoop. So we're going to start with the ones place, which is our units. And so when we need to trade in right away, we're going to trade in. So I'm going to compile the units together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And as we discussed, once we hit that 10th one, we trade in. And then I have one left. That's okay. Now I'm going to add up my longs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm okay keeping 7. I don't need to trade it in for anything. And then we're going to count up our flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my answer is 871. It was a different process to get there. It didn't take as many steps, and we just did it all at once. Now, to get a better grasp on this, maybe we can do a second problem that has a little bit more trading in. Let's do 342 again, but this time let's add it to 269. So I have my 6 flats and my 9 units. Now if we do the partial sums again, I'm just going to say, okay, let's add up my hundreds place, which is my flats. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, so I have 500 right now. Now let's add up my longs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now I can trade this in. Now it's partial sums because I just traded it in, but I'm not adding this extra flat yet to here. Now I'm going to go and add my units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, trading in for a long. And I have one left over. I'm okay with that. And so now we're going to add our partial sums. So I had my 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, adding the 6th hundred, and 11, 10, and 1. And now what would that look like if we did it all at once instead of doing our partial sums? 342 plus 269. So now we're just going to add it all at once. So I'm going to start with my ones place, my units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I need to trade in for a long. And let's add up my longs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I reached another 10. So I have 100 little units within my longs, and there's 100 in my flat. Why am I switching out? As a reminder, it's the place value system. When you can switch out, you need to switch out. And so I have 4, 5, 600, and 11. So just as a small recap, addition is very easy for students to understand when they're able to see it out in front of them. And when you have to add and you have to use the place value system and you have to think about the base 10 system, this makes it so much easier for students to understand why they need to switch out, that this is moving to the next place value. So there are two methods for addition. We have the partial sums, which is a little bit easier, that students may use early on in their schooling, and then just the old-fashioned adding together by going through the place values, ones and then tens and then hundreds and so on. Thank you.